Hey everyone, welcome back to the House of Ambu. Today I will be reviewing Lion King 2. I hope you guys been well, and of course this is going to be more of a shorter video because I don't have too much to say about this, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And let's go into our video quote. Today's quote is, "A lesson learned is a lesson earned." Like all my other Disney movies, this review will have no spoiler-free section since this movie's like 20 plus years old, so watch the first one, watch this one too if you want, but yeah, it's going to be full spoilers for this video. The main thing that stood out from this movie for me was really how it didn't really feel like much of a sequel. I really was expecting them to do like basically the entire first movie all over again, but just worse and like ruin the original characters like most sequel movies do. But I don't even think I could really classify it as a sequel. It feels more like an extension, or like if they made a show after the movie to explore these characters more, because there's nothing in depth about this movie. Like, we really don't even get to see the characters, the new characters, that much. There's no big character deaths or killing off any of the original characters. So it really does just feel like an extension of Lion King 1 and not really a sequel. So I feel like it's more a Lion King 1.5 than a 2. But I am glad. I think that's the main thing I liked about this movie. I am glad that they didn't do a full on sequel because Lion King really did end perfectly. There wasn't really anything to add on to it. And if they did a full blown sequel, I feel like they would have definitely ruined some of the original characters. So I think it was nice that we still got to see the original characters, and they added some new characters and added some development to these original characters. And they really did make it just feel like a more optional thing. Like, you don't have to watch this movie. It's not going to be a whole franchise, kind of. But I also do think that is a downside too, because it doesn't have that much of an in-depth plot. So I don't think it will be able to compete against some of the other Disney movies, because those are all classics. Even Lion King 1 is a classic. Another thing that I noticed was the songs. If you see my last video on the review of The Lion King, you would know how much I praised the songs and how there wasn't even a single bad song. And I really can't say the same with this movie. I will say it was more 50-50 of the songs, but most of them I definitely did not like. There was only a few couple songs that were good. So that really is a shame, especially how good the songs were in the first movie. I wish we got in more good songs like that. One thing that did surprise me was Kiara and Kovu's relationship. I think it was definitely more developed than Simba's in them, because, well, this was the majority of the plot, so they definitely had more time to flesh out that relationship. But I think it was cool to actually see a more developed relationship compared to what happened in Simba's, because it was more of a side thing, which really did catch me off guard. I thought they were just rushing a relationship, but I guess they also didn't have much of a choice with that because of the plot, since it was a centered theme of the plot. And overall, both their characters are pretty cool. We just don't get enough time to explore those characters since it's not a full-on sequel. So that's the other thing that sucks about it. But I think with the time they had, they did a decent job showing these characters and showing some character development towards them. So there was one scene that really caught me off guard, which was when Simba was having a dream and he was falling off the cliff, kind of like his dad did, Mufasa. And it was actually Kovu there that kind of like shoved him down. So I thought for sure they were going to do a scene where Simba's about to fall off the cliff, kind of like Mufasa, and Kovu was going to help him up and show his trust with Simba, but they just did not do that at all, which really surprised me. I think that's really a missed opportunity, and I think it would definitely solve some of Simba's like trauma with that, especially because of what happened with Scar and his dad, and he kind of looks like Scar, so I feel like that would help resolve some of his trauma and show Kovu's trust and Simba's trust in him. I really do think that was a missed opportunity right there. It was literally right there. So I guess one problem you could say the first movie had was kind of like, I guess, like the racism for between the people who lived on Pride Rock and like the Outlands, because I did always kind of wonder like, why didn't they just let them live on Pride Rock? But I guess you could kind of tell from the first movie that they were just all bad, and they didn't really show any people from the outskirts that were just good and would want to live in Pride Land peacefully, because you just like had the hyenas that were just working with Scar, and Scar was not gonna try to live peacefully. He just wanted his spot as king. And in this movie, they kind of tackled that a bit more and show how they could live in harmony. So I think that was really cool. Because technically, like, because why not? Why can't they live in Pride Rock? There's nothing really wrong with that. Especially if some of the people are just good. They just want to live in a more peaceful spot and like a place that has more food, instead of hunting for food like on the outskirts and like starving, just barely able to survive. So I think that was really cool. They added that. But I don't think it was that necessary, especially how the first one ended. There really wasn't any good people on the outskirts. If there were good people on the outskirts and you just said like, nope, you're banished from Pride Rock, then I think I would have more of a problem with it. But I think the first movie ended it in a good way, so they didn't really have to add on to it. But I think it's cool that they did in a good way. And I can't even complain about it not being necessary because it isn't really even a full blown sequel. So it's like, really, is there anything to complain about then? Especially if they didn't do anything bad to the original characters, which would be my main complaint in most sequels. But that obviously wasn't the case here. Okay, the last complaint I have about this movie is with Kiara, which I honestly I didn't even notice at first. But in the beginning of the movie, she's talking about how she's not just a queen and she wants to like find herself. But at the end of the movie, she just gets with Kovu, which I guess is kind of finding herself, but she's still not. We still don't get to see what that other side of her is besides like being queen. And I think she really states in part of the movie that she doesn't want, like, what if I don't want to become queen? So I think it's left ambiguous for the audience to decide what happens, which I kind of don't like. I think it would have been cool. So like another missed opportunity if they explored like, what if I don't want to be a queen or a king? Kind of like Peril and Simba's decision. He ran from his responsibility compared to like someone's responsibility just being forced onto them. And what if they don't want to take up that responsibility more? So I did find it weird that they would just put those lines in the movie just not to explain it. I mean, like, I guess you could argue that Kovu helps her find herself, like, besides being queen. But like, I feel like it's not really healthy to have someone else being a whole other part of you too. I wish we seen more of just herself too. But that might really just be what they were trying to do now that I think about it, because they did have like the water scene at the lake and they were like both halves of each other. So I think that's where she found herself technically. I do wish they explore more of the queen aspect. Like, is she still even going to become queen, or is she still like against that? Overall, though, it was a fun, enjoyable movie. Nice extension of The Lion King. I'm glad they didn't make it a full blown sequel and ruin all the original characters. But since it's not a sequel, a full sequel, there's not that much depth to it, so I can't really speak too much about it and all these new characters. So I think overall I have to give it a 7 out of 10, which is a bit lower than the first one, but I think it's a fair rating. And the more I think about it, it's probably going to be the worst Disney movie I've seen, which honestly isn't that bad. Like a 7 out of 10 for the worst one is actually pretty good. But I don't know, there might be some really bad ones out there, maybe like Wreck-It Ralph 2. But yeah, the lack of depth it's just hurts it a lot. So I really don't think it'll be able to compare to some of these other ones, like the ones I already have on my letterbox. So as you can see, I have all the three movies: The Lion King, Meet the Robinsons, and the new one, Lion King 2. And I think I gotta put in the last spot for now because The Lion King is great. The sequel doesn't even come nearly as close to touching it. So definitely not better than the original. And Meet the Robinsons is such a great movie. It's not better than The Lion King. It's definitely way more emotional than Lion King 2, and it definitely has way more of a plot than Lion King 2. But Lion King 2, it's a cool movie. If you want more Lion King content, I would say you can watch it, but it's really not necessary. But yeah, that is my Lion King 2 review. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be doing a Wonder Man review next week since I'm almost done with the show. And yeah, drop a comment of what other Disney anime movies I should watch first, because that's probably going to come out before my Boba Fett review. So debating between like Aladdin, Lilo and Stitch, or Mulan, which are like all three movies I never seen before. So drop a comment, let me know which one of those three you want, or if you have another one, preferably something that's older so I can work my way up to the newer ones. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next week with Wonder Man.